Hi, I'm Alexandra Desiato. I want to talk today about the primary uses of a bolster. This is a wonderful prop to have in your yoga toolkit. However, if you don't own a bolster, you can easily make one from a couch cushion, something like that. Couch cushion or two pillows stacked together. There are three primary uses for a bolster, and the first one I'm demonstrating now, sitting on a bolster, is a lovely way to make sure that your knees are lower than your hip creases and your hip points. Whether you want to sit in Sukhasana, this easy, sweet, seated position, or you want to have your legs in front of you or stretched out, you always want your knees to be lower than your hip creases, lower than your hip points in some way or the other. So a bolster is a nice way to make that happen. You can also, if you're comfortable with your knees bent a little bit more, you can sit on your bolster as if it were a bike seat with your knees bent, and then again your knees are lower than your hips, allowing the hip flexors to relax. So this is also quite comfy. So a bolster is awesome to sit on. That's number one. The second use of a bolster is as a cushion or a prop for sometimes when you need a little extra cushioning or propping in certain poses. For example, low lunge is a great one. In low lunge, when the back knee is dropped to the mat, for some of us it feels a little spicy, a little uncomfortable to have the knee down. And this is where the bolster can come in really sweetly. A bolster can show up right underneath that knee and offer some extra padding and support. There are some uses for the bolster in pigeon pose as well, to serve as a little bit of a prop for the back hip to rest on if pigeon feels a little spicy, and your hips, or the front hip rather, to rest on. So as a prop, as a seat, and then the third use of a bolster is as a restorative device. So restorative fish is probably my favorite pose. This involves putting the bolster on your mat and then resting back against it, opening your chest to the sky. You can also use the bolster underneath your low back for supported or restorative bridge pose. So it's underneath really your hips. I've got my hips and my pelvis nicely supported here. You could use your bolster underneath your knees in Shavasana. And for many of us, this feels quite comfortable, especially if our low backs feel unpleasant or a little tight when we're just resting with our legs on the earth. There are definitely some other restorative poses you can do with the bolster too. You can put it underneath your upper body for a supported version of child's pose. You could do a twist on the bolster. There are plenty of other restoratives to use the bolster for. But this is the three primary purposes of a bolster: to sit on, to use as a prop or a cushion, and then to use for restorative and supported poses.